Kieran sits by his small window as twilight paints the sky in gentle purples, his fingers tracing worry lines across his tired face. The weight of unpaid bills and endless concerns seems to press against his chest like heavy stones. Outside, the village of Sarenval settles into evening quiet, with warm lamplight beginning to flicker behind cottage windows. He closes his eyes and takes a slow, deep breath, feeling the cool evening air brush against his skin. Something deep within whispers that tonight might be different, that perhaps beyond his familiar walls lies a path he has never walked before. The soft sound of distant wind chimes carries on the breeze, calling him toward a journey of transformation he cannot yet imagine. The evening air feels different tonight. Kieran pushes open his wooden door and steps into the cobblestone streets of Sarenval. This ancient village has been his home for years, yet something about this moment feels new, fresh, alive with possibility. His footsteps echo softly against the worn stones. Each step seems to shake loose another worry from his shoulders, the bills on his kitchen table, the job that barely pays enough, the constant feeling that life is happening to him rather than for him. These thoughts have been his companions for so long, he almost forgot what it feels like to walk without their weight. Sarenval glows softly in the moonlight. Cottage windows cast warm golden rectangles onto the street. The scent of night-blooming jasmine drifts through the air. Somewhere in the distance, a fountain bubbles peacefully. These are the sounds and smells he has known all his life, yet tonight they seem to whisper secrets he has never heard before. Kieran pauses at a street corner where two paths meet. One leads back to his cottage, to his familiar worries and restless sleep. The other winds toward the outskirts of the village, where ancient trees create mysterious shadows in the moonlight. He has walked this second path many times during daylight hours, but never at night. Never when the world feels so full of quiet magic. His heart beats a little faster, not with anxiety, but with something he cannot quite name. Anticipation, perhaps, or hope. The feeling grows stronger as he gazes down the moonlit path. It pulls at him gently, like a whispered invitation he cannot refuse. The night is warm and still. Stars begin to appear overhead, scattered like silver coins across dark velvet. Kieran realizes that his breathing has slowed. His shoulders have relaxed. The tight knot in his stomach has begun to loosen. For the first time in months, maybe years, he feels truly present in this moment. He takes a step toward the mysterious path, then another. With each footfall, he feels lighter, as if the very act of choosing this unknown direction has already begun to transform something deep within him. The worries that felt so heavy just moments ago now seem like distant echoes. The path ahead curves gently between tall oak trees. Their branches form a natural archway overhead, creating a tunnel of soft shadow and silver moonbeams. Kieran walks forward, leaving his old thoughts behind with each quiet step. The path winds deeper into the forest than Kieran has ever ventured before. Ancient oaks give way to trees he does not recognize. Their leaves shimmer with an unusual silvery quality in the moonlight. The air grows warmer here, perfumed with scents that remind him of prosperity itself. Rich earth, blooming flowers, something golden and sweet that makes him think of abundance. He walks slowly, savoring each breath. The forest floor beneath his feet feels soft, almost springy. Moss grows in thick, luxurious carpets between the tree roots. Small flowers glow with their own gentle light, creating a natural constellation at ground level. Everything here speaks of richness. of life lived fully and freely. Then he sees it. Through a gap in the trees ahead, golden light spills across the path, not harsh or bright, but warm and inviting, the kind of light that promises comfort and endless possibility. Kieran quickens his pace slightly, drawn by curiosity and something deeper, an inner knowing that this light will change everything. The trees part to reveal tall stone walls covered in ivy. Ancient and beautiful, they seem to glow from within. Golden light seeps through gaps in the ivy like liquid starlight. A wooden gate stands slightly ajar, as if it has been waiting for him all along. Intricate carvings cover its surface, vines heavy with prosperity, rivers flowing with abundance, symbols that speak directly to his soul. Kieran approaches the gate slowly. His hand trembles slightly as he reaches for the carved handle. The wood feels warm beneath his palm, almost alive with energy. As he pushes the gate open, it moves silently on well-oiled hinges. The golden light grows brighter, more welcoming. He steps through the threshold and gasps softly. Before him stretches the most beautiful garden he has ever seen. Moonlight and golden energy dance together across fountains and flower beds. 3 distinct pools reflect the starry sky, each one surrounded by different types of blooming abundance. The first pool mirrors the moon perfectly, its surface so still it looks like liquid glass. The second bubbles gently with crystal-clear water that sings as it flows. The third glows with warm golden light that seems to rise from its very depths. Paths of smooth white stone wind between beds of flowers that sparkle like jewels. Night-blooming jasmine fills the air with intoxicating fragrance. Somewhere nearby, wind chimes create the softest melody, notes that seem to harmonize with his own heartbeat. But it is not the garden's beauty alone that takes his breath away. It is the feeling of the place. Every inch radiates prosperity, abundance, the absolute certainty that all needs can be met, all dreams fulfilled. Kieran has never experienced anything like it. "You have been expected, Kieran." The voice comes from behind a fountain shaped like an overflowing cornucopia. Kieran turns to see a woman emerging from the shadows between 2 flowering trees. She appears to be ageless, with silver hair that catches moonlight like spun starlight. Her dress seems woven from the night sky itself, dark blue fabric scattered with pinpoints of golden light. Her presence radiates the same peaceful abundance as the garden around her. "I am Seraphina," she says, her voice as gentle as evening breeze through abundance trees. "I am the keeper of this garden, the guardian of the wisdom that transforms scarcity into prosperity." Kieran wants to ask how she knows his name, how she has been expecting him. But something about her presence makes questions seem unnecessary. In this moment, everything feels perfectly natural, as if his entire life has been leading to this garden, this woman, this moment of transformation. "You carry heavy thoughts," Seraphina observes, moving closer with fluid grace. "Thoughts of lack, of limitation, of not enough." Her eyes twinkle with compassion. "But thoughts, dear Kieran, are like seeds. They grow into whatever you plant them in." She gestures toward the 3 pools with a graceful sweep of her arm. "This garden has waited centuries for visitors like you, those ready to plant new seeds, to harvest abundance instead of scarcity." Kieran nods, feeling tears he did not expect gathering in his eyes. For the first time in years, he feels truly seen, understood, not judged for his struggles, but gently guided toward something better. "Are you ready to discover what your mind can grow when you plant it with prosperity?" Seraphina asks. "Yes," Kieran whispers. The word seems to arise from the deepest part of his soul. Yes, I am ready. Serafina moves like flowing water toward the center of the garden. Her bare feet seem to barely touch the ground as she glides between beds of luminous flowers. Kieran follows, mesmerized by the way moonlight and golden garden light dance across her silver hair. Sit with me, she says, settling gracefully beside the first fountain. Its circular pool reflects the star-scattered sky so perfectly that Kieran feels he might fall upward into infinite space. The fountain's edge provides a natural stone bench, warm despite the evening air. As Kieran sits beside her, Serafina begins to speak in tones so soft they seem to merge with the gentle splash of water and the distant chiming of abundance bells. Most people believe that abundance is something they must chase, she begins, trailing her fingers through the fountain's crystal clear water. Where she touches the surface, tiny golden ripples spread outward. They think prosperity lives outside themselves, in jobs and bank accounts and possessions that must be fought for and worried over. Kieran nods. This describes his entire life perfectly. The constant struggle, the feeling that there is never enough, the fear that any small abundance he manages to create might disappear at any moment. But abundance, dear Kieran, is not something you acquire. It is something you remember. Serafina's voice grows even softer, more hypnotic. It is your natural state, the way flowers naturally bloom, the way rivers naturally flow, the way stars naturally shine. She stands and moves to the second fountain, where water bubbles up from hidden springs deep in the earth. The sound is musical, creating harmonies that seem to resonate in Kieran's chest cavity. Everything in nature demonstrates abundance without effort. Trees do not worry whether they have enough nutrients. Birds do not fear there will not be enough sky for flying. Kieran follows her, feeling his breathing slow to match the rhythm of her words. Each sentence seems to plant seeds of possibility in soil that has been dry and hardened for too long. Your thoughts, Kieran, are like seeds scattered in the fertile ground of your subconscious mind. Serafina cups water in her palms, letting it flow through her fingers like liquid diamonds. For years, you have been planting seeds of scarcity. Not enough money, not enough opportunity, not enough worthiness. The truth of her words settles into his bones. He has been cultivating lack without realizing it, watering his worries with attention and energy until they grew into the dominant crop of his life experience. But tonight, Serafina continues, moving toward the third fountain, the one that glows with warm golden light. Tonight, you learn to plant abundant seeds instead. This final fountain is the most beautiful of all. Its water seems lit from within by liquid starlight. Steam rises from its surface, carrying scents of prosperity. Rich earth after rain, golden honey, blooming fruit trees heavy with harvest. The mind does not distinguish between reality and imagination, Serafina explains, her voice taking on an almost musical quality. It simply grows what you plant there. Feed it thoughts of abundance, and abundance becomes your reality. Feed it gratitude for prosperity, and prosperity flows naturally toward you. She gestures toward flowering vines that climb trellises around the golden fountain. In the moonlight, Kieran can see that the vines bear fruit that glows with its own inner light. Abundance made manifest. These three fountains represent the natural process of transformation, Serafina says. First, the mirror of truth, where you see your current thought patterns clearly and without judgment. Then the river of release, where you gently let go of scarcity beliefs that no longer serve you. Finally, the spring of infinite prosperity, where you plant new seeds of abundance consciousness. Kieran stares at the three fountains, understanding beginning to dawn like sunrise in his awareness. So I can literally change my reality by changing my thoughts. Not change, dear one. Remember, Seraphina's smile radiates warmth that rivals the golden fountain's glow. You are not creating abundance. You are removing the barriers that have hidden the abundance that was always there. She moves to stand directly in front of him, her hands resting gently on his shoulders. Her touch feels like blessing itself. Abundance flows as naturally as breath when you stop holding patterns of resistance. Prosperity seeks you as naturally as water seeks the ocean when you stop believing you are separate from it. Kieran feels something shifting deep in his chest. A tightness he has carried for so long that he forgot it was there begins to loosen, as if invisible chains are dissolving in the warm light of possibility. Your worthiness is not in question, Seraphina whispers. The universe's desire to provide for you is not in question. The only question is whether you are ready to stop arguing with your own abundance. Tears flow freely down Kieran's cheeks now, not tears of sadness, but of recognition, of remembering something precious that he had lost and forgotten he ever possessed. I am ready, he says, his voice stronger than it has been in years. I am ready to remember my abundance. Seraphina nods, her silver hair catching starlight. Then let us begin with the mirror of truth. Let us see clearly what needs to be released so that prosperity can flow. Seraphina leads Kieran to the first fountain, the one whose surface reflects the night sky with such perfect clarity that stars seem to float just beneath the water. The fountain's circular edge is carved from smooth stone that feels warm beneath his palms as he kneels beside it. Look into the mirror of your own consciousness, Seraphina whispers, her voice blending with the soft sounds of water and night breeze. See your thoughts as they truly are, not as enemies to be fought, but as old patterns that once tried to keep you safe. Kieran gazes into the still water. At first he sees only his own reflection surrounded by stars. But gradually, as his breathing deepens and his mind quiets, something else begins to appear in the water's depths. Shadows, gray wisps that swirl just beneath the surface like underwater smoke. As he watches, the shadows begin to take shape. He recognizes them immediately. His thoughts of lack, his beliefs about not being enough, his fears about money and security and worthiness. I see them, he whispers, surprised by the gentleness in his own voice. He expected to feel shame or anger at seeing his scarcity thoughts so clearly displayed. Instead, he feels something like compassion. Good, Seraphina murmurs, settling beside him at the fountain's edge. Now speak to them. Thank them for trying to protect you. Acknowledge the service they thought they were providing. Kieran hesitates, then finds words flowing from somewhere deeper than his conscious mind. Thank you for trying to keep me safe, he says to the gray wisps in the water. Thank you for trying to make sure I would not be disappointed or hurt by hoping for too much. As he speaks, the shadows in the water begin to slow their swirling motion. They seem to be listening. Thank you for making me work hard and worry about the future. I know you thought that worrying would somehow protect me from lack. His voice grows stronger, more confident. I know you believed that if I expected little, I could not be hurt by receiving little. The wisps grow lighter, less dense. Some begin to dissolve completely, leaving only clear water and starlight. But I am ready now to trust abundance instead of fearing scarcity. Kieran continues. I am ready to plant new seeds in the garden of my mind. Serafina nods approvingly. Now we move to the river of release. Here you will feel the physical sensation of letting go. They walk to the second fountain, where water bubbles up from hidden springs and flows in a gentle stream toward the garden's edge. The sound is hypnotic, musical notes that seem to wash through Kieran's entire body. Place your hands in the flowing water, Serafina instructs. Feel it carrying away everything you are ready to release. The water is surprisingly warm, almost body temperature. As it flows over his hands and between his fingers, Kieran feels something remarkable happening. The tight knot of worry that has lived in his stomach for years begins to loosen. I release the belief that there is not enough for everyone, he says, surprised to hear these words emerging from his lips. The water seems to carry the words away, dissolving them into flowing freedom. I release the fear that abundance will not last if I find it. Another invisible weight lifts from his shoulders. I release the pattern of working harder instead of trusting more. The tension he has carried in his neck and jaw melts away. I release the story that struggling means I am being responsible. His breathing deepens, becomes easier. With each statement, with each conscious letting go, Kieran feels lighter, more spacious, as if rooms in his inner house that have been closed for years are suddenly opening their windows to let in fresh air and sunlight. Serafina watches with approval as the transformation unfolds. Feel how much space you have created, she says softly. Feel how much room there is now for abundance to flow in. The flowing water continues its gentle song. Kieran realizes that the sound is beginning to match the rhythm of his own heartbeat, as if the fountain is helping to regulate his entire system, bringing him into harmony with natural abundance frequencies. I release the need to know how abundance will come to me, he continues, the words flowing as easily as the water itself. I trust that the universe has infinite ways to provide for me that I have never imagined. I release the belief that I must earn my worthiness. I accept that I am worthy simply because I exist. I release the fear that receiving abundance means taking from others. I understand that there is more than enough for everyone. As each old belief dissolves in the flowing stream, Kieran feels his body relaxing at deeper and deeper levels. Muscles he did not realize were tense begin to soften. His breathing becomes so slow and peaceful that he feels he might float away on the fountain's gentle currents. Beautiful, Serafina whispers. You are clearing the garden of your consciousness so beautifully, making space for what wants to grow there naturally. The water continues its endless flow, carrying away years of accumulated scarcity programming. With each passing moment, Kieran feels more like his true self, the self that existed before he learned to worry about lack, the self that naturally expects abundance, because abundance is the natural order of things. I release the story that abundance is selfish or spiritual people should not desire prosperity, he says, feeling the last major knot of resistance dissolve. I embrace abundance as a way to serve others and express my highest potential. The flowing water seems to sparkle with extra brightness as these final words are released. Kieran lifts his hands from the stream, feeling completely empty and completely full at the same time. Empty of old limitations, full of infinite possibility. Now, Serafina says, her eyes twinkling with starlight, now you are ready for the spring of infinite prosperity, ready to plant the seeds of the reality you choose to create. The third fountain calls to Kieran with golden light that seems to pulse with the rhythm of his own heartbeat. As they approach, he can see that this water is unlike anything in the natural world. It glows from within, as if liquid starlight has been captured and given the property of flow. Steam rises from its surface, carrying scents that awaken every cell in his body to possibility. This is the spring of infinite prosperity, Serafina explains, her voice taking on qualities of reverence and joy. Here, consciousness plants seeds in the fertile quantum field where all realities are born. Kieran kneels beside the glowing pool, feeling warmth radiating from the water that penetrates deep into his bones. The emptiness he felt after releasing his old beliefs is beginning to fill with something entirely new. Not the heavy density of worry, but the light, expansive feeling of unlimited potential. Place both hands in the spring, Serafina guides. Feel the energy of pure creative possibility flowing through you. The golden water is warm and almost effervescent, like champagne made of liquid light. As Kieran submerges his hands, tingling energy travels up his arms and spreads through his entire body. Every nerve ending seems to awaken with aliveness he has never experienced before. Now, Serafina says, settling beside him with fluid grace, now you plant new seeds in the garden of your consciousness. Speak your abundance into being. Without hesitation, words begin to flow from Kieran's lips. But these are not the words of his thinking mind. These arise from somewhere much deeper, from the place where his soul meets universal consciousness. I am naturally abundant, he says, watching golden ripples spread across the spring's surface. Abundance flows to me as naturally as rivers flow to the ocean. With each word, the golden light grows brighter. The water seems to respond to his voice, creating patterns of light that spiral outward like galaxies being born. Money comes to me easily and frequently from sources I expect and sources that surprise me with their generosity. The tingling in his hands intensifies as if the spring is confirming the truth of what he speaks. I attract opportunities that align perfectly with my talents and bring me joy while providing abundant compensation. Kieran feels something like electricity coursing through his veins, but gentle and nourishing rather than harsh. Serafina nods encouragingly. Feel how true these words are in your body, she whispers. Feel how your cellular structure is already beginning to vibrate at the frequency of abundance. And Kieran can feel it, a fundamental shift in his entire being, as if his DNA is being rewritten to match a more prosperous reality. His posture straightens naturally. His breathing becomes deeper and more confident. Even his heartbeat seems to settle into a rhythm that suggests wealth and well-being. I am worthy of receiving unlimited abundance simply because I exist, he continues, the words carrying power that seems to reshape the very air around him. I do not need to earn or deserve prosperity. It is my birthright as a child of an abundant universe. The spring's golden glow intensifies until it illuminates the entire garden. Flowers that were beautiful before now appear magnificent beyond description. The air itself seems to shimmer with prosperity energy. I receive abundance with gratitude and use it to serve my highest purpose and the well-being of others. As these words leave his lips, Kieran feels his heart expanding to accommodate more love than he has ever experienced. I trust the universe to provide for me in ways that exceed my imagination. The golden light begins to pulse in harmony with his heartbeat. Every day, in every way, I am becoming more magnetic to abundance. His entire body now vibrates with the frequency of wealth consciousness. Serafina watches with approval as Kieran's transformation reaches its crescendo. Now feel yourself as the abundant being you have always been beneath the layers of forgetting, she says. Feel prosperity as your natural state. Kieran closes his eyes and allows the golden energy to completely envelop him. In this moment, he is not trying to become abundant. He simply is abundance. He feels it in his bones, his breath, his bloodstream. Prosperity is not something external that he needs to acquire. It is the very essence of what he is. I am abundance, he says, his voice now carrying absolute certainty. Abundance is what I am. There is no separation between me and the infinite prosperity of the universe. The spring responds with such brilliant golden radiance that even through closed eyelids, Kieran sees light. But more than seeing it, he feels it permeating every atom of his being. He is being reborn in golden frequency, transformed at the quantum level into a being whose natural magnetism draws abundance like flowers draw sunlight. I think abundance thoughts naturally and effortlessly. The words flow without effort, as natural as breathing. I feel abundance emotions of gratitude, excitement, and peaceful confidence. His emotional body realigns with prosperity feelings. I take abundance actions that align with my highest vision and trust. His physical body begins to carry itself differently, with the posture of someone who expects good things. I live from abundance consciousness in every moment. The integration is complete. Mind, heart, and body all vibrating at the frequency of unlimited prosperity. Slowly, Kieran opens his eyes and lifts his hands from the golden spring. The energy continues to flow through him, even after physical contact ends. He looks at his hands in wonder, seeing them glow with residual golden light that gradually fades, but leaves them forever changed. How do I feel? He asks himself aloud, taking inventory of his inner state. The answer arises immediately. He feels wealthy. Not just financially, though, that is included. He feels wealthy in spirit, wealthy in possibility, wealthy in connection to the infinite abundance that surrounds and fills all things. You have remembered, Serafina says, her silver hair now touched with golden highlights that reflect the spring's radiance. You have remembered what you have always been beneath the temporary forgetting. Kieran nods, understanding flooding his awareness like sunrise. He has not become something new. He has returned to what was always true. Abundance is not achievement. It is recognition. The seeds are planted, Serafina continues. Now they will grow naturally, bearing fruit in your physical reality as surely as planted seeds bear fruit in garden soil. Kieran feels the truth of this in his bones. The transformation is already happening, not as future possibility, but as present reality that will unfold in perfect timing. Thank you, he whispers, though the words seem inadequate to express the magnitude of gratitude flowing through him. Serafina smiles with warmth that rivals the golden spring's radiance. Thank yourself, dear one. You did the work. You made the choice. You remembered your abundance. As Kieran rises from the spring of infinite prosperity, he notices that his body moves differently. There is a fluid grace in his movements that was not there before, a natural confidence that radiates from his core. When he walks, it is with the step of someone who belongs in abundance. Now we integrate what you have experienced, Serafina says, guiding him along a path that winds through the garden's most magnificent flowering beds. Integration is how transformation becomes permanent rather than temporary. The garden appears even more beautiful now that Kieran views it through abundance-awakened eyes. Colors are more vivid, fragrances more intoxicating. The golden light that illuminates everything seems to come not just from external sources, but from his own transformed consciousness. They walk slowly, savoring each step. Kieran realizes that his relationship with time itself has shifted. The urgent, rushing energy that used to drive most of his actions has been replaced by spacious presence. He feels he has all the time in the world because he understands that abundance includes infinite time. Tell me what you notice about yourself now, Serafina requests as they pause beside a fountain shaped like an overflowing cornucopia. Kieran takes a moment to scan his inner landscape. I feel different in my body, he says, marveling at the discovery. Lighter, but also more solid, more present, like I take up the right amount of space in the world. Serafina nods approvingly. Abundance consciousness always includes the feeling of belonging, of being exactly where you need to be, exactly as you are. They continue walking, and Kieran notices other changes. My breathing is different too, deeper, easier, like there is more oxygen available to me. He pauses, then adds with wonder, like the universe itself is breathing with me instead of me having to struggle for each breath alone. Beautiful observation, Serafina responds. When you align with abundance, you align with the natural flow of life itself. Resistance dissolves. Effort becomes effortless. They reach a grove where fruit trees bend low with heavy branches, offering their gifts freely to anyone who passes. Without thinking, Kieran reaches up and plucks a golden fruit that seems to glow with its own inner light. As he bites into it, flavors explode across his palate. Sweetness beyond anything he has ever tasted. This is how abundance feels, Serafina explains as she watches him savor the magical fruit. Always available, always more delicious than you expected, always freely given when you are open to receive. As they walk deeper into the garden, Kieran becomes aware of a subtle but profound shift in his mental patterns. The constant background chatter of worry that has accompanied his thoughts for years has simply disappeared. In its place is a quiet confidence that whispers, all is well. All needs are met. All dreams are possible. I used to wake up every morning with anxiety about money, he shares with Serafina. Now I cannot even access that feeling. It is like trying to remember a nightmare after fully waking up. The neural pathways of scarcity have been replaced by neural pathways of abundance, Serafina explains. Your brain has literally been rewired to expect prosperity instead of lack. They pause beside a reflecting pool where lotus flowers bloom in impossible colors. Each flower seems to represent a different aspect of abundance: golden wealth, silver wisdom, ruby love, emerald health, diamond clarity. But how do I maintain this state when I return to my ordinary life? Kieran asks. How do I keep abundance consciousness active when I am surrounded by bills and responsibilities and the world's focus on scarcity? Serafina smiles with infinite compassion. Dear one, you are not returning to your ordinary life. You are bringing your extraordinary consciousness to what the world mistakenly calls ordinary circumstances. She reaches into the flowing fabric of her dress and withdraws something that makes Kieran gasp. A crystal unlike any he has ever seen. It pulses with the same golden light as the spring of infinite prosperity. as if it contains a drop of that magical water frozen into solid form. "This is a fragment of crystallized abundance consciousness," she explains, placing the warm crystal in his palm. "It will help you remember. When you hold it, you will instantly reconnect with the frequency you have established here tonight." The crystal feels alive in Kieran's hand, warm and pulsing with gentle energy that immediately reconnects him with the golden spring's transformative power. He understands that this is not just a reminder, but a doorway, a way to return to abundance consciousness whenever he chooses. "More importantly," Serafina continues, "you now carry this frequency in your own energy field. You have become a walking broadcast station for abundance. Others will feel prosperity in your presence, even if they cannot name what has changed." Kieran senses the truth of this. He feels abundant energy radiating from his heart center, like concentric circles of golden light. Anyone who comes into contact with these circles will be touched by possibility, whether they realize it or not. "Your job is not to convince anyone of abundance," Serafina adds. "Your job is simply to live from abundance consciousness, to be the walking proof that prosperity is natural and available." As they complete their circuit of the garden, Kieran realizes that every worry that brought him here has been transformed, not solved in the traditional sense, but dissolved in the recognition that abundance was always present, waiting for his acknowledgement. "I feel like I'm dreaming," he admits to Serafina, "but also like I am more awake than I have ever been." "Both are true," she replies with twinkling eyes. "You are awakening from the dream of scarcity into the reality of abundance." The walk back through Sarenval feels like floating through a dream made of starlight and possibility. Every familiar street has transformed, not because the physical structures have changed, but because Kieran now sees them through abundance-awakened eyes. The cobblestone path beneath his feet seems to sparkle with embedded gems he never noticed before. Street lamps cast golden circles of light that pulse in rhythm with his own prosperity consciousness. Even the air itself feels different, richer, more nourishing, filled with the energy of infinite possibility. As he passes cottage windows, Kieran sees warm light spilling onto the street like liquid gold. Behind those windows, he senses the dreams and hopes of his neighbors. But now, instead of feeling separate from their aspirations, he feels connected to them through the universal field of abundance. Their dreams support his dreams. His prosperity consciousness lifts the entire village. The fountain in the town square catches his attention as never before. Water cascades in perfect spirals, each drop catching moonlight like liquid diamonds. The sound is musical, creating harmonies that seem to celebrate his transformation. Kieran approaches and places his hand in the flowing water, feeling it pulse with the same abundant energy as Serafina's magical springs. All water is connected, he realizes aloud. All abundance is connected. The prosperity I claimed in the garden is already flowing through everything. He continues toward his cottage, but the building that comes into view bears little resemblance to the humble dwelling he left hours ago. The same physical structure stands there, but it now radiates warmth and welcome that transforms it into a palace of possibilities. The wooden door that seemed so ordinary this evening now appears crafted by master artisans. Its grain catches moonlight in patterns that suggest prosperity runes. The windows glow with inner light that speaks of abundance already dwelling within. As Kieran pushes open the door, he gasps softly. The interior has not changed physically, Yet everything appears transformed. His simple furniture now looks elegant and perfectly chosen. The space feels larger, more spacious, as if the walls themselves have expanded to accommodate his enlarged consciousness. The bills that were stacked on his kitchen table remain there, but they no longer carry emotional charge. Looking at them, Kieran feels only calm certainty that abundance flows toward him from countless sources, both expected and surprising. These papers are simply information, not threats. He walks to his bedroom window and looks out at Sarenval sleeping peacefully in the moonlight. The entire village seems to glow with gentle prosperity. Not the harsh light of material obsession, but the warm radiance of beings who understand their inherent abundance. Kieran realizes that his transformation is already affecting everyone around him. The golden light that radiates from his heart center touches every person, every building, every growing thing in Sarenval. He has become a conduit for universal abundance, lifting the consciousness of his entire community simply by remembering his own prosperity. Settling into his bed, Kieran feels the crystal Seraphina gave him pulsing gently in his palm. Its warm energy spreads through his body like liquid contentment. Every cell vibrates with the frequency of wealth and well-being. His pillow feels softer than the finest silk. His blankets wrap around him like prosperity itself made tangible. Even his breathing has become a meditation on abundance. Each inhale draws in infinite possibility. Each exhale releases any residual limitation. "I am abundant," he whispers into the moonlit darkness. "I am abundance itself, recognizing my own nature." The words seem to echo not just in his room, but throughout all of Sarenval. Carried on night breeze to sleeping neighbors who smile in their dreams without knowing why, his abundance consciousness ripples outward like stones dropped in still water, touching lives in ways he may never fully understand. As sleep begins to claim him, Kieran feels profound gratitude flowing through his being, not just for the magical garden and Seraphina's wisdom, but for every experience that led him to this moment of remembering. Even his years of struggle now appear perfect, necessary steps on the path to abundance consciousness. The crystal in his palm pulses one final time before settling into gentle warmth. Through his window, moonlight streams across his face like a blessing. In the distance, barely audible, he hears the sound of fountains flowing with endless abundance. Kieran closes his eyes, knowing that when he awakens, his new reality will unfold with perfect timing and infinite grace. And now, dear listener, as Kieran drifts into peaceful slumber, his transformation becomes yours. Feel his abundant energy flowing through your own body. Sense the golden light that fills his heart expanding to fill your heart as well. Breathe deeply and let abundance consciousness settle into your bones. With each gentle breath, you are planting seeds of prosperity in the fertile soil of your own subconscious mind. These seeds will grow while you sleep, taking root in the quantum field where all realities are born. Feel yourself relaxing deeper with each word, your body sinking into comfort that rivals the softest clouds, your mind releasing into the spacious peace that comes when you remember your natural abundance. I am naturally abundant. Let these words echo gently in your awareness. Abundance flows to me as naturally as rivers flow to the ocean. Feel the truth of this settling into your cellular memory. Money comes to me easily and frequently from sources expected and unexpected. Allow this knowing to dissolve any remaining tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your entire being. I am worthy of unlimited prosperity simply because I exist, Let this recognition melt away any effort, any striving, any need to prove your worthiness for abundance. Every breath you take draws in infinite possibility. Every heartbeat pulses with the rhythm of universal prosperity. You are breathing abundance. Your heart beats abundance. Your very existence radiates abundance. As you drift deeper into restorative sleep, feel golden light filling every cell of your body. This light carries the frequency of wealth consciousness, reprogramming your energy field for magnetic attraction to all forms of prosperity. I receive abundance with gratitude and share it with joy. Let this intention settle into your dream consciousness, where it will multiply and manifest in your waking reality. The universe provides for me in ways that exceed my imagination. Feel this promise wrapping around you like the softest blanket, keeping you warm and safe as you sleep. Tomorrow, you will awaken with abundant consciousness fully activated. Your eyes will see opportunities that were invisible before. Your heart will feel the excitement of prosperity flowing toward you. Your body will carry the confident posture of someone who naturally expects abundance. But for now, simply rest in the golden frequency of unlimited possibility. Let sleep carry you deeper into the reality where you and abundance are one, where your dreams plant seeds of prosperity that will bloom in your waking life. Sleep in abundance. Dream in prosperity. Wake in wealth, consciousness. Let the gentle rhythm of your breathing carry you into abundant dreams where all your desires are already fulfilled. Float on rivers of golden light that flow through landscapes of infinite possibility. You are abundant. Abundance is what you are. There is no separation between you and the prosperity that is your birthright. Sleep now in this knowing. Rest in this truth. Wake wealthy in all ways.